September 12th. Ear ringing might intensify for the chosen ones.
There are dates the world treats like wallpaper, and there are dates that behave like tuning forks. If you have the M on your palm and the perfect crescent moon, you already know which kind of day September 12th is. You did not stumble into this channel by accident. This is not a place for generic comfort or recycled inspiration. This channel exists as a working instrument, a compass for the chosen ones, a practical guide for marked people who have been feeling the tone in their ears rising like a horizon line. The 12th has a personality. It is a day that knocks. It is a day that tightens the signal. And if your ears begin to hum, buzz, or sing on September 12th, I am asking you to stop treating it like static and start treating it like a coordinate. The quickest way to get lost is to call a map a rumor. The quickest way to find yourself is to notice that the ringing always happens right before a choice. Maybe you were about to type a message you didn't fully mean. Maybe you were 5 steps from the door that leads into a room where the atmosphere always shrinks you. Maybe you were about to say yes to something your body had already said no to. The ring arrives. It cuts through. It is not here to entertain you. It is here to align you. The world will tell you the ring is random, a glitch, a meaningless noise. The chosen discover that the ring is a pointer and that it is most precise on days like the 12th, when structure tightens and assignments clarify. On this day, do not race past the sound. Step into it like a lighthouse beam moving across the water, turning your boat towards safety rather than spectacle. You carry proof in your hands. The letter M is not an accident of lines. It is a story written in your skin that keeps telling itself. The crescent on your palm is not a trick of light. It is a reminder that the night has a grammar and your life is learning to speak it. People with these marks often report the same pattern. Animals approach and linger without fear. Lights flicker in certain rooms, but only when they enter or speak from the spine instead of the mask. Receipts and timestamps cluster around repeating codes. They feel watched over, directed, corrected. And when the ear rings, something in them stands up. That something is why this channel exists. I am not here to replace your intuition. I am here to help you turn the volume knob in the right direction. There is a way to be practical with this. Let me show you without using the old formulas. If the tone hits at 1:11 on your clock, treat it as a start signal. 1 is a gate that prefers honest beginnings. If the tone shows up at 2:22, treat it as alignment. 2 is agreement. If it flashes at 4:44, think foundations. 4 is the architecture that holds when wind arrives. If it lands at 5:55, consider it a disruption on purpose. 5 is change that refuses to apologize. If you keep meeting 7:17, read it as threshold. 7 asks you to cross. If you notice 9:09, that is closure and re-entry. If 10:10 follows you, that is recalibration and clean slate. None of these numbers chase you to scare you. They stand in doorways. They hand you coats with names on the tags. The names are habits you outgrew. The ringing is the usher, asking if you are ready to step into the correct theater. I call September 12th a North Day, not because compasses act different, but because you do. You stop pretending that you cannot hear. You stop pretending that you do not know. The tone points north by marking the next honest inch, not the next glamorous mile. People get stuck because they want a grand staircase when what they actually need is the next step that does not betray them. If the ring starts while you are writing a message, pause and ask a better question. Does this sentence make my chest relax or tighten? If the tone arrives in a hallway, notice your feet. Are they taking you into a pattern that has already proved it does not love you? when the ring visits and you do not argue. With it, your life stops leaking. Use this protocol throughout the 12th. I call it NORTH because it is easy to remember when the sound hits and your adrenaline wants to run. Notice the exact moment and what your body was doing. Orient to the simplest truth available right now. Record a single line in your Notes app location, time, and the thought you were holding. Trim the option that shrinks you. Heed the smallest action that honors the truth you just named. Notice, orient, record, trim, heed. This is not a ritual to impress anyone. It is a way to keep the door unlocked while you are still standing in front of it. You will see patterns when you practice this. For some of you, the left ear will hum during conversations, where you need to listen closer and gather information before moving. For others, the right ear will flare in the exact second you need to step forward and send the email or say the boundary. Do not fight about which ear means what. Pay attention to the chorea of your life. On September 12th, watch how the tone syncs with the room, the person, the sentence, the thought, the door handle in your palm. If a hummingbird hangs in front of you while the ring lifts, do not just smile. Ask what detail is being highlighted. If a cat curls around your ankle as the sound swells, do not only take a photo. Ask what softness you are allowed to keep while you move. If the bathroom light stutters in the mirror and the tone arrives, do not call it bad wiring before you ask whether you are about to repeat a line you promised to retire. Your hands will help you decide. The M in your palm has an honest appetite. It wants what strengthens you even if it scares you. The crescent over your lines is a promise that the night is not a verdict. When the tone touches your ear on the 12th, place your palm over your chest for a single breath and ask the only question that never lies. Am I walking toward or away from myself? The answer is immediate. Your body knows it, faster than your mind can explain it. Write the answer before your cleverness edits it into something polite. I want to be very clear about the purpose of this channel, because clarity protects time. We are not here to worship the ring or to obsess over symbols. We are here to interpret them accurately enough to take a step that stops a cycle from owning you. The world is loud. Algorithms reward noise, but the chosen learn to hear tone over volume. If you carry the letter M and the perfect crescent, you already belong to a minority that refuses to collapse into the ordinary. This channel is your workbench. We put the tools out in the open. We try them in real life. We tell the truth about the results. We do not punish ourselves for needing practice. We celebrate evidence. We stop pretending we cannot see. Because honesty matters, let me add a humane note. Ear ringing can have physical causes. If what you experience is persistent, painful, or worrying, see a professional. Your health, spirit, and body are not enemies. Get cleared, then do your work. The point is not to manufacture meaning where there is none. The point is to discover that meaning repeats itself on days like the 12th, and that it keeps repeating until you answer. You do not need a perfect plan. You need a reliable first move. The NORTH protocol is that first move. Now I want to talk about sabotage, because the 12th exposes it. Sabotage is not always dramatic. Often it looks like research without action. It looks like saying you are waiting for a sign while ignoring the one in your hand. It looks like pretending the ring is random so you can keep a pattern that makes you small. On September 12th, take back your calendar. Write the word alignment over your morning. Write the word choice over your afternoon. Write the word integrity over your evening. Every time the tone arrives, choose the next honest inch. If you fail at noon, try again at 2. 1 inch of truth changes more than 2 miles of pretending. If you want a simple experiment for the 12th, try the 12-minute map. For the next time the tone arrives, commit the 12 minutes that follow to micro moves that back the truth you just named. If the sound hits at 9:09, while you are about to agree to a plan that bends you out of shape, use the next 12 minutes to draft a kinder boundary and a clear alternative. If it hits at 4:44, while you are deciding between fast comfort and real foundation, use those 12 minutes to set up one small system that will still be there tomorrow. A calendar block, a short script for saying no, a list of 3 people who make your nervous system feel like home. 12 minutes is not a lifestyle, it is a lever. You will not do this perfectly, and you do not need to. You will do it honestly, and that is how doors appear. If you feel alone in this process, you are not. Many of us carry the same lines in our hands and the same tone in our ears. We are learning together to translate sound into steps. We are building a community that believes evidence more than drama. When someone comments with despair, we will answer with dignity. When someone posts a timestamp, we will help them decode and test it in the real world. We will ignore pessimism that wants attention but refuses growth. We will amplify stories of people who took a small action in 12 minutes and found a different week on the other side. Let me say this as clearly as I can. The 12th is not asking you to be brave in the abstract. It is asking you to be honest in the next 5 minutes. Honesty is heavier than fear for a few seconds. Then it becomes lighter than anything you have carried. When the tone visits you, do not perform for the world. Perform for your future. Ask what version of you will thank you by sunset. Then take the inch that version would take. The ring will not harm you. The ring will not rush you. It will escort you to the next precise move and wait while you choose it. If your p are marked and your ears already know the sound, you are in the right place. This channel is your tool bench, your map table, your lighthouse. On September 12th, you will have more chances to prove to yourself that you can steer. You can choose north. You can turn the hum into a step without announcing it to anyone. You can turn a pattern of losing yourself into a practice of finding yourself on purpose again and again until it feels like breathing. Before we dive in, a quick word from me to you, person to person. If this channel has been a steady hand on your shoulder, if you feel seen here and you want more tools made for people with the letter M and the perfect crescent moon on their palms, I invite you to subscribe now. Not as a transaction, but as a shared promise that we will keep building something useful, honest, and protective for the marked. And I need your voice. Tell me in the comments what you want decoded next. Do you want a deep guide on animals as messengers? On repeating totals that show up on receipts? On how to set boundaries without burning bridges? Or on what to do when 808 follows you for a week? Your suggestion does not disappear into air. I read, I study, I test in real life, and I return with tools. If you are new, welcome home. If you are returning, thank you for keeping this space alive. Now, let us put our hands over our hearts for a breath and name the one whose presence makes all of this more than a self-improvement project. There is a reason the ring can arrive like a bell from nowhere and yet feel kinder than fear. There is a reason your shoulders drop when you tell the truth while the sound is still fading. There is a reason you can stand in a kitchen lit by a plain bulb and know you are not standing there alone. God's presence does not always arrive with thunder. Sometimes it is a warmth that refuses to leave. Sometimes it is clarity that lands in a single sentence. Sometimes it is a nudge so gentle we're in a hurry. On the 12th, the ring and the presence often travel together. Not to frighten you, not to test your worthiness like a harsh examiner, but to guide you into the next honest inch. When I speak of presence, I am speaking of the nearness of God, the quiet companionship that knows you by your true name, the steady company that will not shame you for being in process. If you have felt a hum and then a peace, a tone and then a knowing, you know exactly what I mean. I want to show you how to recognize that nearness in ordinary places, because the 12th is an ordinary date to most of the world, yet to the marked, it behaves like a small sanctuary built into the calendar. You are washing dishes at 6:16 in the evening, planning to agree to something that will cost you more than you can afford, and the ring rises in your right ear as if someone lightly touched a glass with a spoon. The water is still running, the plate is still in your hand, but your attention has been borrowed by something kind and exact. If you were to close your eyes for a breath and whisper, "God, I am listening," the temperature of the moment would change. You would notice what your body is doing. You would notice that the agreement you were about to make required you to pretend. Presence and ring often arrive together to rescue you from pretending. Because this channel is a workshop and not a theater, let me give you a practice that pairs with what we began in Block 1 without repeating it. I call it the sanctuary practice, and it is built to be used in the flow of a normal day, especially on September 12th, when the tone intensifies. The letters are easy to remember, but the life is in the doing. Stillness comes first, even if it is only one slow breath with your palm over your sternum. Acknowledge that you are not alone and that the guidance you need is not far from you. Name the moment without drama. I was about to say yes to something that bends me out of shape. Consent to be led by peace instead of panic. Trust that the smallest true step is enough. Align your next words and posture with that step. Release the urge to explain your choice to everyone who will not understand. Yield the outcome to God and return to your day. Stillness, acknowledge, name, consent, trust, align, release, yield. If you do this while the ring is still a thin line of sound in your ear, you will begin to associate the tone with sanctuary instead of stress. Some of you will ask how God's presence can have anything to do with a sound in your ear. I am not asking you to worship the sound. I am asking you to pay attention to the timing. The ring tends to arrive when the next small act of integrity is within reach. Presence draws near when you are about to honor what is true. The sound marks the moment. The presence supplies the courage. This is why people report that after the ring lifts, they can, without feeling like a child, finally refuse the offer that felt flattering but wrong. Finally ask for precise help instead of vague rescue. God's nearness is not a vague fog that makes you numb. God's nearness is a steadying hand that makes you clear. If you carry the M and the crescent, clarity is your native language. When you speak it, the room changes. Let me apply this to the way numbers fold into the day, because the 12th loves to underline things with timestamps. If the ring taps you at 8:08 while you are sitting in your car in front of a place that never treats you like home, read it as the presence pressing a soft palm against your ribs, asking whether you are about to enter because you are loved there or because you are trying to buy belonging. Ape can feel like abundance, but abundance without belonging drains you. If 11:14 greets you in a waiting room while the tone hums in yours, if 12:24 finds you halfway through writing a message, feel the double of structure, a gentle reminder to speak in a square room of truth and kindness, rather than in a crooked hallway of sarcasm. None of these numbers are lucky charms. They are labels on shelves, and the ring is the librarian handing you the right book. Presence also borrows the ordinary messengers of the world and turns them into teachers. A hummingbird appears in front of your face for 3 long seconds at 3:06 on a day when you planned to hide. The ring pings, small but clear. The bird's body writes a sentence in the air. Stay light, stay precise, stay here. A cat chooses your lap, not because you are holding still, but because you have finally stopped performing. The room light winks once when you switch it on, and the tone follows. You do not gasp or dramatize. You slow your breathing. You ask God to put a hand on your back, and you tell the truth you were about to dodge. Peace where you can walk without scraping your soul against the walls. You may have noticed that on the 12th, the ring does not always ask for big decisions. Sometimes it asks for a small correction in how you hold yourself. Presence cares about posture. Presence will ask you to lift your chin in rooms where you used to shrink, to soften your jaw in rooms where you used to bite, to open your hands where you used to clench. If the tone arrives at 5:05 and you are in front of a mirror judging your own face, presence will ask you to bless what you see and put on the clothes that let your nervous system breathe. If the tone finds you at 7:41 while you are about to answer a message with a performance instead of a person, presence will ask you to say only what is true and kind, and to let that be enough. God is not trying to make your life impressive. God is trying to make your life honest. I want to go deeper into how the ear side sometimes partners with what the presence is inviting. Please treat this as observation rather than law, and test it in your own day. When the left ear joins the ring, many of you will notice it in moments where receiving is wiser than doing. Receiving information, receiving care, receiving a no that saves you from a worse yes. The presence in these moments feels like a chair pulled out for you, a quiet seat where you can see the room more clearly before you move. When the right ear joins the ring, many of you will notice it in moments where movement is the mercy. Sending the email, making the call, stepping out of the room, paying the bill, deleting the number. The presence in these moments feels like a hand at the small of your back and a doorway that does not slam as you pass through it. Do not argue with your life while you test this. Notice, act, and record. You will build your own legend of how God accompanies you, because God is not a bully. There will be days when you miss the cue. On the 12th, you will still get more chances. You do miss one. Do not create a religion out of regret. Regret is a teacher with a very short course. Let it teach you for 1 minute and then return to practice. If the ring visits you at 9:41 as you are about to repeat a habit you regret, invite presence to interrupt you kindly. Put your hand on your chest. Speak your real name to yourself. Say out loud, I can still choose the next honest inch. And then choose it. When you do, you will discover an odd mercy. The presence does not punish you for missing earlier. The presence celebrates that you answered now. I promised that this channel would be a tool and not just a story. So here is a field drill many of you can run on the 12th. Call it presence pairing. For one waking day, every time the ring arrives, pair it with a sentence to God out loud. It can be as short as I am listening. It can be as specific as I do not know how to say this kindly. Help me form the sentence. It can be as brave as I will walk in even though I am shaking. Steady my feet. Do this 10 times across a day, and you will end the night with evidence you cannot talk yourself out of. You will notice that the conversations you feared were lighter than the anxiety you carried about them. You will notice that the places you entered with your shoulders down did not devour you. You will notice that the message you wrote with peace landed better than the clever performance you almost sent. The ring marks the moment. The presence keeps you company inside it. Some will ask how to bring God's nearness into rooms where you feel very small. Begin with breath. Presence loves breath. At 1:04 in the afternoon, standing on a sidewalk you do not want to walk down, breathe in and say, "Thank you for walking with me." Breathe out and say, "Show me the next inch." If the ring arrives mid-breath, smile a little, because you have been caught in the act of being guided. Keep breathing, keep moving. At night, when the house is quiet and the tone finds you at 10:28, while why are replaying an old scene that always hurts. Invite presence to sit with you. You can speak aloud. You can say, "I return this scene to you. I ask for clean light to wash this room in my memory. I ask for the courage to forgive what is mine to forgive, and the wisdom to release what is not." Then let the ring fade, and let the night be kinder than it used to be. None of this cancels common sense or care for your body. If you experience persistent or painful ringing, see a professional and tend to your health. God's presence does not require you to ignore the wisdom of medicine. The spiritual and the physical are not enemies. They are partners when you allow them to be. Get cleared where you need to be cleared. Then practice what you learn here with a free conscience and a stronger body. I will close this block with 3 small stories from people who gave me permission to anonymize their details so their lessons can serve you. A woman with a perfect crescent and a faint M on her left palm stood at a window at 12:42 and felt the tone in her left ear while crafting a message to apologize for something she did not do. She used sanctuary in 1 minute, changed her message to a clear boundary without apology, and sent it. She reported that the relationship finally became honest after years of walking on glass. A man with a bold M on both hands and a crescent sharp as a silver boat heard the ring in his right ear at 4:26 while sitting in a parked car outside a job that drained him. He whispered, "I am listening," and asked for the next inch. He did not quit that day. He wrote a single-page plan and asked for 1 conversation that week. 4 weeks later, he transferred to a role that did not erase him. A mother of 2 who has been seeing 808 for months felt the ring in both ears at 808 while her child melted down in the cereal aisle. She whispered, "God be near in me," and put a hand on her own chest before comforting her child. She told me later that for the parented without abandoning herself. None of these stories are loud. They are alive. The presence inside the ring made them possible. If your palms are marked and your ears have learned the tone, you are not a random collection of symptoms. You are a person being guided in a world that is often noisy but never godless. On the 12th, expect more company. Expect more clarity. Expect the ring to mark the moments where the presence wants to sit beside you and show you the next clean inch. Subscribe if you want to keep walking with us. Leave your topic request so I can shape the next tools for our tribe of the marked. And remember this sentence that I keep on a small card near my desk. The ring is the bell. Presence is the sanctuary. Your choice is the doorway. Walk through.